Hello, everyone, and welcome to USA Global TV, and hello to our friends listening on Business Talk Radio. I am Dr. JACALYN KERBECK, and our show today is presenting pet psychic Aminah. So I think it would be a great idea if we presented her. Here she is. I present you.
I
How
want
are
a
you today?
crown. I'm good. You?
I'm doing well, thank you. This is our show is my last show of the week. So this is show number 21 this week.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. I feel so lucky.
Well, I'm glad that you're here. I'm going to spotlight you and introduce you, but I just wanted to share an update about Bob the
Yay!
spider. Yes,
Did he come back?
so he came back to the exact same place. The same place. And today, when I went to take a shower, I looked up and there was another spider in the shower very close to me. And I looked up and I said, okay, I just want to get something straight. Bob's over there in that corner. I'm here in the shower, and I don't think this is a great place for you because you may get wet. I don't know how you feel about that, but if you could kindly move over to the corner. And guess what? It moved. And now I named it Fred.
And it could be a Fredette. You don't
It could
know.
be. And by the way, I know you must be aware of this, but I actually looked it up. Spiders do not have to eat or drink for years.
I didn't know the years part. I knew it was months, but they really, really can conserve. Look at how much they need. A big droplet on a plant, they're drowning.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Very interesting. Amin, I'm going to spotlight you. The audio is a little behind. I don't know what happened, but just so you know, we can hear you fine, even if you see yourself and it looks like you're not matching up. We can hear you. So,
Okay.
if you can tell our audience a little bit about your background and how you live your life coexisting, and you've taught me how to coexist with other creatures that have every right to be here.
Yeah, thank you. It really grew out of being able to talk on your platform and flush out sometimes we unconsciously have morals or codes or things we live by, and we're not aware of it until somebody asks us over and over and over. And every Friday we get to talk about what I get asked during the weeks and months of working with my clients on how they can be better parents and that type of stuff. It all comes down to understanding, and that's a part of the coexisting. If you understand someone and why they drive on the left side of the road, you probably will drive on the left side of the road because you'll understand it, and there'll be a better cooperative living. When we don't understand each other, animal, vegetable, or mineral, it doesn't matter. When we understand, we cooperate together better. When we think we're better than them or less than them, and that's animals, spiders, lizards, alligators, or your next door neighbor who keeps watering your cactuses with their sprinkler. And if you know anything about cactuses, they're not really fond of that. So you need to sometimes step up and say, I can do better by explaining, by getting them a part of the solution. And that's what you've done with our little Bob Spider. And he decided to bring his buddy and say, hey, this lady's nice. You just do what she says and we're good. And it's not about the words you say. When you're going to talk to animals, I love talking to the trees. They never move. They have very embedded roots, and I'm the one who needs to go around. But animals specifically, you're going to get communication. You're going to get, they understand when you talk like this, or you talk like this, or your accent or whatever. They're going to figure out your mood, your energy. We all have energy, and what that is happy, sad, mad, glad. It really reverberates from us. I can usually feel if somebody has high emotions, and if they're scared, I'm trying to figure out why, because maybe it's something that I can reassure them. For example, somebody whose child has gotten lost and they're scared. How easy is it for us as adults to walk over and say, how can I help? How can I make you calmer, better, more centered, and give you the help that you need? And so many times, especially right now, the times we're living in, kindness is missing so much. We're all in a big hurry to get there, and that's how car accidents happen. I live in the San Francisco area, and it's a madhouse every morning, regardless of a pandemic. People are driving. But if everybody drives together at a moderate speed all at the same time, they're all going to get to work, hopefully safely and all at once. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about bigger things than your cats and dogs. I'm going to center on that. It is my forte, it is my passion, and it is my God given gift to do so. And I'm going to help you through that to understand your animals. So please email us and text us and ask our questions, and or you can send them to myself. I'll ask Dr. JACALYN if we can send it through her, but email us, bridgingworlds at 2018 at Gmail, and I'll bring them on the show to answer your questions.
Thanks, Aminah. Yeah, I'll actually put up my contact information as well, but people are more than able to just put something in the comments if they would like to ask a question, or if they have a comment to share with us, that would be great. So today's topic is going to be,
we are talking about, my big thing is the whole coexisting, but how to teach your pets to communicate with pet psychic Aminah. That's the title on our banner. And what does that mean? What does communication mean? If you're going to talk about a dog or a cat, they are very, very different. Cats live singly. They, of course, live with families, but dogs are pack animals. You have to understand who you're talking to, what their proclivity for their natural state of being. If you're going to talk to a sheep, they live in herds. If you're going to talk to a dog, they live in packs. But if you're going to talk to an alligator, he probably lives all by himself. And it's not just the teeth or the hooves, but you need to understand that to be healthy and well, your horse and your sheep and your dogs want to be together. They want to be all together with their pack leader, and with dogs specifically. Now, all herds have a hierarchy also. It's just a lot more subtle than you would see in horses and dogs specifically. I'm just going to narrow down the playing field here for me. So I'm not going to talk about every animal unless somebody would like to hear about something. I do have clients that have reptiles. It's a whole different conversation, and their brain power is a whole different thing. With dogs and cats, cats pretty much live singly. Of course, they can live with a family just happily, but they also can live alone. But they don't, once their babies grow up, they go off and do their own thing. Where dogs stay in packs, you'll see this in wolves, because this is where our dogs come from, is wolves, and they will stay together. They hunt together, they starve together, they protect the female alpha when she's having puppies, and so on and so forth. And in that pack, if somebody is injured and it's a slight injury, they'll care for them. Absolutely. They'll bring them food and that type of stuff. If it is a life and death situation and the pack is put at risk, then they will make the decision to walk away. The saddest thing is you see this in elephant herds. They travel a great deal, and the females travel together. The males do also, but it's a little different structure. But the females raising their young, and the saddest thing, I watch a lot of documentaries and things because, of course, I like to keep up on my favorite topics. Elephants are one of them, and when they're crossing the Sahara or they go by a water hole and that type of stuff, and their little elephant, who's smaller than us as far as height, gets stuck in the mud, they do everything possible without digits, mind you. They do have a very great trunk, but it has one little finger, not 5 or 10 of them. And to get that baby out of the mud that literally sucks it down into is heartbreakingly hard. So the ones that don't make it, and the mothers that cannot, and all the aunties cannot get it out, they will walk away and let it die, because it is about the whole herd. not staying there where a lion will come by and take them out. It is a very sad thing to see, but they understand and they do grieve. They do grieve, but they understand that the whole pack matters. So we're talking about coexisting. It's the same with people. I have had really amazing conversations, and animals do things for the strangest reasons. And sometimes they are just like us. They do it for no reason. Um, Getting a really strange look from our cat last night, and my daughter leaned over and said, "What was that about?" I said, "Because he just wanted to." There was no machinations to it, and just like people, they just want to, whatever that is. We have a rule that you can't get up on certain edges of the house. Has a really high edge that goes down to a stairway, and one of our cats actually jumped so far, and he's so big, he just slid off and landed a whole floor away. That was terrifying because I was actually watching. I couldn't get him soon enough before he fell. So these are the things you go, okay, what can I do? What can I prevent? And we become that cat's pack animals and want to be having them have a healthy life. And
Uh,
Dr. Jacqueline, feel free to interrupt me anytime because
yeah,
I'll
I
go
have
on.
a no, I have a question. I thought that was very interesting about the elephants and not having the digits. I wasn't really even thinking about that. But something I also would like to explore is many times people will bring more than one type of pet into the home. What considerations do you have to have? Like we know people with dogs and cats, and but when people start getting into reptiles with dogs or cats or any other type of pet, what considerations do we have to have? Fish with cats, etc.
A lot of a lot. I can't stress this enough. Has to do with you, you and me, the human. What we our capacity to do is what I tragically see most of the time, and I'm sorry, it is over 70% of the time when I see multiple pets in a home, and or they, now we're doing videos and they show me all their cages is when you top out wherever your top out is. One is maybe too many for some people, and five is just the right number for some, and 10 whatever. So you have to find your balance. How many cages do you want to clean? When my girls were small, we did a lot of adopting and fostering. So at any given time we had a two guinea pigs, two rabbits, and a parakeet. Not a parakeet, a sun conure. Very loud, very, very loud. So this is a lot of cages. This is a lot of newspaper, which I didn't have a subscription to, so I had to go in and get a bunch of newspaper. And my neighbors collected theirs for me. That means having them clean, changing their water, getting them fed. So imagine you have to do this with just one person, and for some of us it's like I live with my older daughter, and so this is a great situation. But if she had to do it for me or I had to do it for her, and Dr. Jacqueline, your situation, we have somebody who gets sick, you or your mom, and the other one picks up all of that work. It's hard enough with an adult because we're picky and opinionated. We say so. Animals are picky and opinionated, and they will say so, especially a sun conure. Very loud. They're very, very, very loud, very screechy. So you have to understand your capacity. It's lovely to love animals, but if you cannot care for them properly, get the vet treatment you want, then you're overdoing your resources. And your resources, as Dr. Jacqueline and I know, having cared for others and people who've been sick, that you say, okay, I need a break. I need somebody to come in and give me a break so I have a chance to go out and exercise and walk and, I don't know, smell the trees or whatever gets you down from that overworked. And a lot of at-home moms go through that. A lot of caregivers, such as yourself, Dr. Jacqueline, do that. And you really have to focus on your mental health to be there for your mother. And I know for when my parents were sick, I had to really be there. And you know what I mean? Be there. Heart, soul, energy, be there in the room, be there in your head. Animals need that same thing. So if
Yeah.
you're looking to adopt for the first time, Get one. Try it out. Figure out what you can do. Do the research. Cats are going to sleep most of the day. That's really great with a really easygoing, you're gone at work and you're willing to clean a cat box. It's not that big a deal if you just keep at it. If you leave it for a week, it's a big deal.
I think I shared with you I had 3 dogs at the
Mm,
same time, and
yeah,
I had 2 fish tanks, and I had 2 birds, and I had too much. And I was going through a really emotional time in my life, and I basically was trying to fill the void that I had by having pets around. And what ended up happening was I gave the birds back because I just couldn't handle them. And
yeah.
then the fish, they were saltwater fish. So
Oh,
very expensive, very
and
messy,
lots of work.
so much work. And by the way,
Oh my
after you
God.
spend, 50, $100 for a fish and it's floating upside down, that's
Oh,
not great. So I ended up with the dogs, and the dogs live a long time. And that's something
yeah.
that people don't actually think about. It's like, okay, let's get Johnny a dog, or let's get ourselves a dog. Well, that
Yeah,
dog, God willing, is going to live 15 years, 18 years, 12 years, depending
right,
on the breed.
right.
And you don't know what your life's going to look like that. So you have to make sure that you have the capacity to take care of them and be good to them all of those years. And what I ended up finding out was having the 3 dogs was an exceptional amount of work, and it was a lot of money also for the groomers and for the pet insurance and for the vet visits. But I'm so glad that I had them. I really am, but I will not be getting any more pets. That was
Yeah.
it.
And sometimes it takes that large epiphany. We all get into these things. My kids were transitioning. I think they were going into high school or something like that. And I got a sun conure. They are extreme screechers. So, and Maggie was very attached to me, of course, because she saw me all the time. And I pretty much took her everywhere just to get her trained, just to get her. I wanted to continue using her in my therapy practice of animal therapy that I would take to different homes and to different people who were in convalescent centers and that kind of stuff. And she was really, really great because I took her like everywhere. The problem became when she became so focused on me that I would go to bed at night and she would go to sleep, of course. But if she heard me walk to the bathroom or, I don't know, roll over loudly, if that's possible, whatever, she'd start screaming because she couldn't see me. As soon as she saw me, she would quiet down. But I did not keep her in my room. I kept her in our family room. It was better. She could see windows, see everybody. But oh my goodness, my neighbor finally shared with me months later. I always know when you get up in the morning. I said, what? What? And she said, yeah, because Maggie always screams. Oh my God. And you don't realize how you affect. Literally, we're talking about one house and then another house. We're not talking about a condo that shares walls, a bungalow, nothing. These were full grown houses. She was in the next lot. And I'm thinking, oh, that's bad. That's really bad. I wouldn't hate me. I would really hate me because it's like a dog barking. How annoying when they just go on and on and on because the owners have left and they left him in the yard. Oh, he'll be fine. Well, not for everybody else. So you have to think of those things of what are you going to do? That is why it's so important to get a hold of a professional, and I'm one of those, but you get a trainer if you need it. I did a lot of research when we adopted a stray shepherd, a German shepherd. And I've talked about Jake quite a few times because he's a great example. I had very small children, and they were, I don't know, 4 and 3, somewhere very small. And so both were walking, of course, and I have them hold on to my pants so I could hold packages. But here I had a full-grown German Shepherd who'd never, ever been walked or been around children, much less anything. He was dumped in the backyard, purebred. So I went to a trainer myself and said, okay, how do I make sure this dog is childproof or soundproof and isn't going to jump, or he jumped all the time. So we worked on that, and not jump on the kids because he'd take them down, standing on his hind legs. So you need to go, even I do, I go seek professional help because I don't know everything. Um, and I just put an article out on my social media to say, I got asked a couple times, why do you post so much of other people's stuff? Don't you want to do your own work, only? And I said, I do my own work. I'm very creative and I write my own articles and that kind of stuff. But there's a plethora of wonderful work. Dr. JACALYN, you know this. You're sharing so much of that. Why wouldn't I want to support those who are doing such magnificent work also? I'm not trying to get out of writing my own articles, but I definitely believe in coexisting in my own life. And what that looks like to me is sharing your great content. I mean, if anybody just went to USA Global TV, my problem is, when do I stop watching? Okay, I'll watch half of Diane's and then I'll go down to Ed's and then I'll go over to this one. And I'm thinking, man, I'm not getting nothing done. Because I try to turn it on while I'm cooking. I don't cook very often. I don't want the injury to my hand. So it's microwave. That's not cooking. I'm not little burritos. But you know what I mean? You can turn on all of that stuff and listen and join the music and all that kind of thing. And I just keep flipping channels because I don't have to go to AM 12 and PM, FM 900 and find all these channels on the radio like we used to do. I just watch your one platform. I get it up either on my Facebook or YouTube's easiest for me because they're all there.
Yeah, I like the YouTube channel the best because they're all in playlists. And what I started doing was, after we live stream, I go back and I change the thumbnail. So instead of it being the show title, it's actually from the show. So you can see your face, or who the guest was. People will see us and they'll be able to zone in on it. So, but we're going to take a quick break right now. And I'm going to play 2 clips, and they are in support of Ukraine, the people of Ukraine. So let's just take a look. This first one is so beautiful. It's called We Stand Together. Let's take a look at that. Then we'll look at the violinists, and then we'll be back with more from Aminah. Fish with a reptile. I don't know.
Well, the dog and the cat seem to think if your fishbowl is open at the top, it's like the watering bowl.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. You
It's
know, Amina,
hilarious. I'm like,
oh, sorry. There's a little bit
go
of
ahead.
delay in the audio.
Sorry.
So one thing I wanted to share was when I was in corporate several times. I don't know why I did this. I'm sure there's some meaning, but I bought one of those fish. These with a T. I want to say it's a Terra something or other. It's like red and blue. You can
Yeah.
just have one because I think they attack each other. What do you know about
Yeah.
that?
Another word for them in the lay world, because I know what you're talking about, and I can't think of the whole word either, is fighting fish.
Yes, yes. What are these good pets?
I would say yes. They're great. I would personally start with if we're going to talk child or first time animal for an adult, I would go get a goldfish. They're a little hardier, and you're not getting quite the exoticness of it, but fish in general, you talk, well, you don't have a pet store to talk to, but talk to whoever you're getting the fish from, and they will, of course, say it's the best fish on the planet. I wouldn't suggest you go to koi. They live about 60 years, and you need a big pool. So don't go that way. But a goldfish is really, I mean, it might sound simple, but just like the fish you're talking about, they're beautiful, but they have very specific pH needs. You need to keep their tank clean. You need to possibly now see with a goldfish. The nice thing is you don't have to have a filter. It is nice to have. That just means you're going to put your goldfish in a cup with some water and then throw all the water away. Wash his bowl, and I don't mean wash it with soap. People have done that. I just want you to rinse it out and take a little sponge and wipe all the algae away and that type of thing, and then put it back. Plants are really, really nice. Plants give off for us oxygen and it helps us breathe. It's the same thing for fish in the water. They can go without, they can go with. It's better to have it with so that they have that better breathability. Again, check with a fish professional. I have not worked with fish in 20 years. So my information might be old or outdated or whatever, but I still stand by this. Where we started is if your child is really interested in animals, have them go babysit the next door neighbor's dog, meaning the neighbor's still there, the dog's still there, and they're supervised.
Hmm.
Not that the neighbor gives you the dog to your child and he comes to your house and maybe you aren't familiar with this breed and or dogs at all, or you're afraid of them. We've all met people that are afraid of any kind of animal. So have them, if you can find time, they'll come over and play with their dog. That might be just what the neighbor needs because it's free usually and they get the experience. There's a lot to know. Don't ever put your mouth in an animal's mouth, your hand in an animal's mouth. It's just bad. Even if you're getting a toy away, it's so easy for the animals, and it happens sadly way too much. The animal gets blamed for biting them when you stuck your hand in their mouth. It's like, wait a minute. I think this went the other way, but we can't jail people yet for being bad, bad around something they didn't understand. So start out small, not only for yourself to see if you're the right family. And Dr. JACALYN, right now having three dogs would devastate you. You have your mother, you have your own home, you have a full-time show. I mean, where you're going to leave the dogs at your feet all day, throw a kibble down during commercial,
Yeah, it's
and
not
then
fair to the pets.
yeah, and then you're gonna what? Hire the non-existent, executive of your show to take your dogs for a walk? No, that's not having a relationship with your pets. If you don't have the capacity to care for their basic needs and walks for dogs specifically, and cats do go for a walk. That's a training issue though, with getting them trained to a leash and a collar. So you can do that, but do you have the bandwidth? Not just time, bandwidth. And when we use this term, we're literally using it like the tape that bandwidth go with a radio station, whatever. Do you have time to talk to them, walk them, brush them, sit and watch TV with them? Because they're not ornaments. They're living, breathing entities that love, hate, bite, cuddle, all of it. And they deserve that kind of commitment. And we all make mistakes. I've made mistakes. Absolutely. And taking on a German Shepherd baby with two babies of mine was a real risk. So I learned a lot of really fast things. Luckily, I had worked with, honestly, I'd worked with tigers before that, and a wolf. So I wasn't completely, and I worked with, and I had a lot of neighbors who had dogs, but I didn't have a dog. It does matter, but I also know who I am and what I've lived with and where I've been around and all the studying I've done. So I was better prepared, but terrified for my two little ones because I didn't know this dog. I didn't know how he'd react, and he was actually spectacular. That doesn't always happen. That doesn't always happen. And we got a cat. I think it was a cat once, and she was a really terrible fit. And so I rehomed her. That's really hard on the kids. That's really hard on us. So that's what I'm here for, is to help that coexisting and write as many funny and wonderful things. But like Dr. Jacqueline, when you had your dogs, did you pick up your poop outside?
Yes, of course, you have to pick it up.
Well, exactly. I mean, listen to the tone of your voice, which is exactly the way I said to you. It's shocking. Why would you ask me this? Because I just needed you to state it just like you did. Of course, because you look at you, somebody when they ask for you and we go, that's not a choice. You do realize that? It's like, got dog, pick up dog. What they don't understand is, I mean, I'm in a very, very large condo on a hill thing, and it's very large. So great for walking. But in the bushes, that's these lovely, don't even get me started with landscaping idiocy when you got your sidewalk right out of our houses, and then they put all these stupid bushes that they have to trim every 6 weeks because they get too big to get in the car. So you parked on the car. So in that bark where these stupid bushes are, that they have to cut back. So I'm glad people are employed. I'm thrilled for them. But there is the landmine of poop. And we see our neighbors walk, and it's not that I don't see bags or something, but the point is that it is not biodegradable. If you're going to have a dog, yes, you're taking it for a walk, then why wouldn't you clean up after it? Everybody's like, oh, it'll become part of the soil. No, no, it won't. So the landscapers eventually come around, I assume, because there's not 7 feet of the poop after a while. But we've all stepped in it when it's fresh or rained on, and that shouldn't be something that's a choice. You got a dog, you need to feed it. You got a dog, you need to take it to the vet once in a while. You got a dog, you must clean up. And that's really important that so many people, and I honestly, when I was younger, of course, I never thought about, okay, they're eating this, so their poop will be biodegradable like a cow and a sheep, because you don't go out in the field, but they're in a field, not in public or outside of somebody's house. It's literally at the bottom of my stairs. There's a tiny sidewalk, and then there's the poop zone with the bushes, and then your car. So you literally walk through these landmines day after day after day. And I can always see when somebody gets a fresh one because then they've wiped their shoe on the sidewalk. But please, everybody, take on all the responsibility and understand that dog feces are not biodegradable. There's too many byproducts in the food we feed. So if you're going to say, oh, well, I feed them fresh steak and chicken and all that, and that's great, but I hope you're also doing vegetables and plants because dogs are omnivores. They can do both. Cats are more of a carnivore, but they still are getting processed food. Our even our organic stuff is almost never sprayed because that's the whole point of organic. But are you buying your dog organic food? Maybe not. So I'm just saying, take responsibility for the life, not just the animal's life. That's why you're going to groom them. If you get a poodle or some other Bichon Frise, any of these that have to be groomed, then hopefully you're taking them to the groomer and you're getting their nails done and you're getting their paws, the fur cut away from their paws, etc. And I do have quite a few clients that have these breeds and they do that. But you know that when you adopt, if you're going to get a regular dog, as far as just when you have to brush them once in a while because they get matted and dirty. And you wouldn't know that there's a scratch under that fur if you're not touching your dog, not just petting. Petting's great for that. You kind of run your hands all the way through the fur and you can see if there's a sore before it blisters, before it's infected. Because every doctor will tell you the same thing, proactive. Be proactive. But part of loving your animal is also saying, I need to take care of you. Now, we've talked about communication. How do you teach your pet to communicate? Talk to them. They understand the timbre of your voice, not only just the sound of you speaking, but they get the happy, sad, mad, glad. The really, when you're happy, truly happy, or sad, you're crying or mad. These are strong feelings. They understand that. They understand you're happy, sad, mad, or glad. So that's why you're interacting, because then they read you like they would the rest of their pack. And that's what I'm talking about. Dogs specifically, cats are different. So you need to go with that also and understand, okay, a cat will look at you and say, yeah, I get it. This is what you mean. But do I want to do anything about it? That's a cat. And that's a cat's response. So please understand who you're dealing with and go with their strengths. But you gotta pick up after them. It's just like you get their nails clipped, or you clip them, or you brush them with the double coats. You groom them. Part of owning a dog is not leaving it behind. It's just it just ruins the plant on top of that. So
Great
please,
points, Amina. Yeah, I think people think it is biodegradable and it's not,
they
and it
do.
just becomes a mess, especially if you live in a community where there's young children and they're riding their little toys around. It's just do the right thing. We are
Yes,
actually out of time. It's hard to believe
I
how quickly
know.
it goes by. So I'm going to spotlight you as always, and if you can just share with people how they can reach out and also connect with you on Facebook and some of these things that you're publishing, how people can get on out if you have a newsletter or whatever you want people to get involved with.
Thank you. So yes, my two platforms that I spend all my time on is LinkedIn, and that is where I really schmooze with a lot of professionals in my field, and we talk all kinds of things. But I love talking about the animals and really doing the research. I love knowing what's coming and what is the newest, latest animal they found, and how we can all do this better. So LinkedIn is a little bit more of a step up in a professional. Still put a lot of silly things out because I love animals and I think them being silly and wonderful is there. And that's what you'll find on Facebook. I do a lot of content. I share a lot of content because I am not the expert of all topics. National Geographic, I actually have been to workshops with them and in touch with many people that work with National Geographic and really support their work because they're really trying to do the conservation, and that's where it is going. I'm very, very fortunate to have met and gone to a workshop with, oh, her name just ran out of my head. She works with chimpanzees and has all her life. So I'm really, really fortunate to have been around some amazing professionals and that type of stuff. On anything, you can email me off my website, bridgingworlds.us, and all my information is there. And I can help you with any difficulty you're having with a current pet or you're looking to adopt, and any of that type of stuff I can do from anywhere to anywhere. I have lots of overseas clients because all I need is a phone call. We can do Zoom. I don't charge more for it, but we can do Zoom. I don't need to see the pet because I want to feel your energy and your connection and what's happening. Even if we're just talking adoption and you haven't met that one yet, but we can work on that. So please coexist. Have any questions? There is a plethora of really great information out there. And of course, on USA Global TV, which is where we are at, I have all my videos from the time I started last year with Dr. JACALYN, and we've covered so many topics. If you want to hear a specific topic for me to cover, just email me, bridgingworld2018 at gmail.com. And that's the best way to reach me all the time because I can just text you back wherever I am because I'm out a lot on property and was out working with horses yesterday. And sometimes I am face to face with them because why not? A wonderful place. Thank you, Dr. JACALYN, for this amazing platform and getting that time out there. Do you want to hear me cover a topic? I would love to. And I really want to talk about spay and neutering and how vital that is to really getting the pet population under control and helping the shelters in a real way, besides us volunteering and, of course, donating money. Thank you for all you do for the pets also.
All right. Thank you so much, Aminah. Another great show. And I wish you a beautiful weekend and look forward to seeing you next week. Who's on board for us?
Corky. We have Corky next week.
Okay.
So
Corky
we're going to meditate about it.
Sounds very good.
Wonderful.
All right. Thank you again.
Take care.
You too. Bye. Hello, everyone. This is our last show of the week. If you are joining us for the first time, whether you're watching on the replay or the live, most people watch on the replay. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch our shows. This week, we had 21 live broadcasts, which is close to a record. I think one other time we had 22. And if you'd like to be a guest on any of our shows, just go over to our website. It's usaglobaltv.com, and you'll see an area where you can book your session. Some of the shows are closed to the public, like this one, for example. You must be invited by the co-host because they already have a list of people in rotation. But many of the others are open, and we've got all different types of topics. We started a new show this week called What's Trending, and that was fabulous with Kathy Fulton. We have a new show coming up, which is called the Talking Heads Panel. And if you're not familiar, Talking Heads is our platform for experts from around the world. They actually have their own 30-minute show, and they come and present something to make us better personally or professionally. Well, we're going to be bringing 5 of them together, and they get a topic to discuss with each other. They've never actually been on the same screen or stage together before, so they don't know each other, but they get a topic from me literally right before we broadcast. So I'm looking forward to that. Our first episode is April the 12th. The next thing I want to mention to you is we have a reunion show coming up, which is May the 21st. I'm looking for my graphic. Here it is. This is open to anyone and everyone who has a business, a book, a film, an event, and they would like to really market it on our platform. So you will get 15 minutes to present, and you also get to interact with the other guests who are there. So we'll be live streaming for 6 hours, and there'll be 4 guests per hour. So you can meet a whole bunch of new people. We actually did this for our launch party. We launched USA Global TV on January the 10th, and we live streamed for 6 hours. So I'll be posting the link. If you're interested, you can go over to Eventbrite. Space is obviously limited because we can only have 24 people, and we have a bunch of people who signed up. So go over there as soon as you can. The next thing I want to share with you is that in addition to being the founder and president of USA Global TV, I also have another business, which is Dr. JACALYN, LLC. And I am the listening mentor, which means I teach people how to listen at an elevated level. I also teach courses myself and with others to help people learn how to listen more effectively. If you would like to learn more, you can go over to that website, which is drjacalyn.com. We also have our elevated listening community, which you can find out more about that by going over to drjacalyn.com/join. Okay, that's all that I have for you today. Thank you so much. I'm really looking forward to tomorrow as it's my birthday. Yay. And I'm taking the day off for my birthday. So I will be back here on Monday broadcasting again. I wish you a beautiful weekend. Be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and thank you again for watching us. Take care. Have a great weekend.